Thank you for joining us again here at 4:30. I'm Robert Hadlock.
And I'm Britt Marino. The special session is nearing its end, and now lawmakers are rushing bills to the governor's desk before Labor Day.
KXAN's Sally Hernandez sat down today with the Texas Tribune for an in-depth conversation on the closing days of this special session and new laws going into effect today.
Yeah, the legislature is expected to finish up its work sometime by the end of this week for the second special session. So, Cassie, what are the dynamics heading into this final stretch? What is expected to pass? What's expected to fail?
Right. It's once again crunch time at the legislature as lawmakers are entering, as you said, the final few days of the second special session. Some of the legislation on Governor Greg Abbott's agenda has actually already made it to his desk, including the GOP elections bill that prompted House Democrats a quorum break over the summer, as well as legislation that essentially rewrites the state's bail system. Lawmakers have also sent the governor a bill that will expand and fund virtual learning, though it excludes students who fail their STAR exams.
And over 600 new laws go into effect today, the first day of September. What are some of those laws that stand out to you?
One new law creates the Texas Active Shooter Alert System, which will notify Texans who are near an active shooting scene through their phones. Local law enforcement can activate the system when needed. That new law, of course, stems from the 2019 mass shooting in Midland and Odessa. Families who had victims in that tragedy testified before the legislature that an active shooting alert system may have saved lives. Another new law that takes effect today allows the state to financially punish certain cities that reduce their police budgets. If municipalities with a population of more than 250,000 make that move, the state can reduce sales tax revenues and prevent an increase in their property taxes.
I want to touch on another of those important laws. This one's related to abortion. It's tied up right now in the courts. Right now, which has brought a whole lot of uncertainty, right, to exactly one of the most restrictive laws in the country, what it's going to look like and when it takes effect. What's the latest development that we have on this?
Right. So at midnight, one of the most restrictive abortion laws in the country went into effect after the U.S. Supreme Court did not take action on an emergency appeal to block it by Texas abortion providers. Of course, this new law bans abortions as early as 6 weeks into pregnancy, and according to providers and abortion rights advocacy groups, may affect at least 85% of the abortions taking place in the state. It's worth noting that many people do not know they are pregnant within the first 6 weeks. And, to your point, yeah, there's a lot of uncertainty about the next steps now that this law has taken effect. Various abortion clinics and other groups who are involved with the procedure have said that, that they intend to remain operating their clinics for as long as possible, with the acknowledgement that their clinics could, start to close their doors as soon as today.
Cassie Pollock with the Texas Tribune. Thank you again.
Thank you.
One bill that goes into effect today is House Bill 1024, more commonly known as alcohol to go. The bill lets restaurants sell alcohol to their customers as a takeout order. It was originally one of Governor Greg Abbott's temporary pandemic mandates, but today it is permanent. Another bill, House Bill 1518, will let Texans buy beer and wine at stores at 10 in the morning on Sundays. Before today, stores couldn't sell alcohol until noon on Sundays.